The list is hitting the road for the Great Getaway. Join us as we learn the hidden hints of Google Maps.
Just tap on that blue dot and say, share my location.
And visit
the best place in the U.S. to see the Aurora Borealis.
Get your wanderlust on.
Magical, it's mystical.
But first, we take a closer look at travel myths.
When I am outside of the U.S., I don't always tip.
It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes.
And I'm Christina Guerrero. You know, with vacation season just around the corner, we decided to focus today on the Great Getaway.
May have been a while since you've had a chance to travel, so there are a lot of things you might need to be reminded about.
That's right. Starting off with Jackie Danker. She is debunking some common travel myths. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
Pack your bags, because it's time to take that much-needed trip. But before you take off, there are a few things you should know.
I've heard so many different beliefs and thoughts from people who are frequently traveling, and many of them are simply not true.
So to set the record straight, we turn to travel expert and CEO of Phenel.com, Edita Satchel. We're starting our journey with, you must pay a service fee to travel agents.
Well, it's not necessarily true, because you have options. The service fee is the extra that they are making. They get commission paid from suppliers, hotels, airlines.
So it's kind of like an extra tip.
But even if they decide to charge you for it, you can ask them to waive the fee. This is something that they can do it in the spirit of good partnership with you.
She says all you gotta do is check with customer service. Next, you can't make a reservation in a hotel that's fully booked.
You can book a hotel that is fully booked.
The key here is to work with a travel agent.
Some of them have options to book something which is called so-called blocked space,
which is reserved space that the hotel blocks off just in case
the VIP show up last minute, something else. So travel agents have access to that space if they sign a contract with the hotel supplier for this kind of extra service.
So that could be your ticket in. And if you're not working with an agent,
keep checking. There are cancellations, there are last minute changes. You should be able to get something.
Moving along with tipping is a must, no matter where you travel.
I do tip when I travel, when I am within the United States. When I am outside of the US, I don't always tip.
Edita says some countries don't expect any tips from travelers.
Like Eastern Europe, Poland included, countries like Italy, Singapore, even Japan. This is not something you would normally do.
I mean, you always can choose to tip, but in some cases,
they're actually even surprised, sometimes even embarrassed when someone is putting money into it. Some people may read it in the wrong way as a bribery.
So she suggests doing a quick Google search to see what's customary in the country you're traveling to.
Because you don't want to upset anyone.
Finally, all-inclusive means everything's included.
All-inclusive doesn't necessarily mean that everything is included. Exclusions may be something like, right now, the COVID test you have to pay for. Well, the internet may be excluded.
She says things like top-shelf liquor and off-site excursions may be left off the list as well.
So you really need to read the fine print before you make the final reservation.
Traveling smarter by debunking travel myths is at the top of the list.
For those of us who are directionally challenged, Google Maps has been life-changing. As long as you have your phone, you can get just about anywhere without getting lost. And now it's gotten an upgrade. We have the latest tips and tricks from Google Maps.
Since 2005, Google Maps has helped you navigate and explore the world around you.
Molly Vandenberg, communications manager for Google, says that Maps is more than just a navigation tool. It can be incredibly useful for a number of surprising things. Her first tip: make friends with the Measure tool.
All you have to do is when you have it up on your computer, you'll right-click and select Measure Distance. From there, you can continue to click to place different points.
You can map out your expected route, then fine-tune it, whether you're in the city, or in the wilderness, or on the water.
And this is really handy if you're going to maybe do some kayaking or want to plan a hike.
And you can take it a step further by determining the exact square footage of an area, your garden, for example. Simply place a new point by right-clicking, then Then, connecting the dots, Google does the math for you.
You can understand how many square feet that is. We can help you make purchasing decisions about how much fertilizer or how many plants you might need.
Our next Google Map tip is sharing your location while out and about.
He said to meet at the pink bench, yet he didn't say which one. But that's no problem, because Ben can use Google Maps to share his precise location in real time.
What you do is just tap on that blue dot and say, share my location. You then get to select exactly who you share with and for how long.
It even works if you're moving, say, on your way to a surprise party.
He shares their route and ETA with the others, so they know just when to expect them.
History buffs will flip from Ollie's last Google Maps trick, which turns the Street View feature on Maps into a time machine.
If you type in an address or a place and you see the clock icon underneath it, all you need to do is click on it, and from there you can see the historical imagery that we have available for that place.
You can even boost it by using Google Earth, a big brother to Maps.
We have a feature called Time Lapse, which allows you to see how different geographical areas have evolved over time.
See how climate has affected certain areas of our planet, or how your favorite city has grown. New ways to navigate our world with Google Maps tips and tricks.
All right, if you are ready to pack your bags and do some exploring, there are a lot of must-see places to put on your list. Hattie DeJamal takes us to some little-known but unforgettable outdoor destinations across America.
Your spring and summer travel plans are about to get a lot more exciting.
Let's do this! I have some great ideas of some destinations that probably aren't on your travel radar.
Freelance travel journalist Jennifer Broom takes us across America to some unique spots where there's plenty to do.
And when it's time to leave, you're going to wish you had more time to enjoy the people and enjoy the outdoor adventures.
Our journey begins in Fairbanks, Alaska.
The best place in the U.S. to see the Aurora Borealis, or more commonly known as the Northern Lights.
Prime time to enjoy this celestial spectacle is between August and April.
That's the time when you have some dark skies.
And if you're in the mood to relax, unwind at Chena Hot Springs Resort.
Check out Chena Hot Springs Ice Museum and get that apple martini or apple teeny in an ice-cut glass. It's phenomenal.
We're moving on to Cortez, Colorado.
It is what I would call a mecca for mountain bikers and for archaeological ruin seekers.
New and experienced mountain bikers can enjoy a ride at Phil's World Trail. Woohoo! From there, take a drive to McElmo Canyon and hike the Sand Canyon Trail.
That is part of Canyons of the Ancients National Monument, which has the highest density of archaeological sites in the U.S. I will tell you, it is huge.
And while you're there,
go have a glass of wine. Sutcliffe Vineyards is one of my favorite wineries in Colorado, and it is in McElmo Canyon.
Our next stop takes us to Terlingua, Texas.
It's a town that's kind of been built up around ruins.
It's also your gateway to Big Bend National Park, the only one with a fully contained mountain range. And it also features some of the darkest skies in the U.S.
It's magical, it's mystical, it's going to draw you in as it draws me back time and time again.
Let's wrap it up with Central Nebraska.
You likely don't think of Nebraska as an outdoor destination, but I'll tell you, you should.
It is the spot to catch the spring migration of the sandhill cranes,
one of the last great animal migrations on the planet.
For your best viewing experience, stop by Crane Trust near Grand Island or Rose Sanctuary near Kearney, Nebraska.
Both of those places offer tours. It is something that is extra special.
Checking out some one-of-a-kind outdoor destinations across America.
Coming up on The Great Getaway, discover the hidden gems of America's national parks.
They are trees that are worth bragging about.
And find out how to be safe as a solo traveler.
A lot of times when we travel, things don't always go as planned.
Plus, we give your taste buds a tour with international sodas.
Refreshing, fun, fizz on.
That's next on The Great Getaway.
Friends, welcome back. One guy who took the Great Getaway to the extreme made it his mission to visit all 58 of America's national parks. He wrote the New York Times bestseller Leave Only Footprints and shared with us what he learned on his amazing adventure.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves
of rain.
Meet Connor Knighton, who wrote a book about his year-long journey visiting every national park in the U.S. From Acadia to Zion as a correspondent for CBS Sunday Morning.
I think one advantage of going to all of the parks is that you start to see the threads that tie them all together.
When we think national parks, we might think Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, but Connor found that there are other treasures worth exploring.
I guess I knew these places would be pretty. I was surprised at just how interesting they all were. Whether I was in Dry Tortugas National Park in Florida or at Denali National Park in Alaska, it was always the stories of the parks that stuck with me.
Now he's sharing some of those stories with us, the places he says should be on your bucket list. Starting with California's SEQUOIA National Park.
It's home to some of the largest trees in the world, way different than any bits of bark and branch that you've ever seen in your life.
Yep, these aren't just any old trees. These trees can live more than 3,000 years, and you can see the largest one in the world, dubbed the General Sherman tree, which stands at 275 feet and is estimated to be 2,200 years old.
If you've ever seen the logo of the National Park Service, there's a sequoia front and center on that, and that is not a coincidence. They are trees that are worth bragging about.
His next must-see spot takes us to a tropical locale.
It's not every day you get to see Mother Nature giving birth, but that's basically what happened when I went to VOLCANOES National Park in Hawaii.
This park includes two of the world's most active volcanoes, one of which is the largest, rising 30,000 feet from the bottom of the sea, taller than Mount Everest.
While that volcano is not erupting right now, I'm sure the lava will be flowing again one day soon, and when it does, that's the time to book your ticket. Not that you need another reason to go to Hawaii.
And Connor's third stop takes us back to the mainland, Olympic National Park in Washington.
At most national parks, you cross your fingers and you hope for a sunny day, but at Olympic National Park in Washington, you root for the rain.
And this park is basically a 3-for-1 because you can see snow-capped mountains, sprawling forests, and pristine beaches.
What I found out there on the trail was that America the Beautiful is also America the Captivating, America the frequently hilarious, and America the Inspiring.
Those are national parks to add to your bucket list.
With so much to see in this world, it can be hard to decide where to go next. So we look to some world-traveling YouTubers for inspiration. Teresa Strasser sharing a few of their wild journeys on the Buzz List. Hey, Teresa.
Thank you. Ready to travel in the luxurious comfort of your very own first-class sofa? With over 1 billion views, these traveling YouTubers are serving up getaways that are just a click away. Coming in at number 1, Girl Traveler.
I'm Christine Ka'aloa of Girl Traveler. I take you inside my solo travel and food adventures so that you can find confidence traveling alone too.
She's teaching solo travel survival for men and women of all ages, mostly by letting aspiring globetrotters learn from her mistakes. From culture shock to getting lost and even travel scams.
I always research possible scams in advance, and that's because it kind of gives me a lay of the land, as well as it gets me familiar with the possible scams out there that I might come across.
At number 2, Kristen and Sia.
We thirst to wander, explore, and discover, to find our likes and our dislikes.
This husband-wife duo travels the world, sometimes going to extremes to show dream destinations.
This is the most dangerous highway in the world.
Or nightmares.
Just in advance! I'm sorry, Mom!
They also show off domestic destinations like Grand Canyon National Park.
We are approaching an incredible view.
And if you dream of globe-trotting year-round, they even share the secrets to living that YouTube travel life and ways to save money while you're doing it.
And make sure it's warm and delicious. And oh my God, it's dripping.
And third on our list of YouTube travel channels, Mark Weens.
I just have a stomach and a passion for exploring and tasting the everyday food of every country I visit.
If you want to take your taste buds on a trip, he's your guy.
The skin is perfectly golden.
Eating affordable street meat.
The ducks here are selling out so fast.
And feasts of fancy. like this $5,000 cut of Kobe beef.
It is the best of Kobe beef, a ribeye.
Wanderlust YouTube channels on the buzz list. We've got so much more to come. Stay right here.
We are back, and you know, one important part of any great getaway is the music that goes along with it. We decided to step back in time for a playlist that will go along with just about any adventure. 80s summer jams are on the hot list.
What does every summer need? Sunshine, the beach, and of course, the right music.
80s music feels like perfect for right now. We're all looking to get out, we're craving nostalgia, so it seems just like the perfect vibe to add to your boppy summer playlist.
Jay Donovan, host of Apple Music Hits, takes us back to the decade to bring you 4 songs every 80s summer jam playlist needs.
Even if you think you don't know 80s music, guaranteed there's songs on here you're gonna know and love.
Our list begins with a classic by The Human League, Don't You Want Me?
Don't you want me, baby?
The Human League, I mean, one of the greatest, I would say, biggest bands of the 80s.
This song is their best known and most successful. It spent 3 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 in the summer of '82.
Such a cool, purely 80s vibe.
Let's move on to a single by Rick Springfield, Jesse's Girl.
Jesse's got himself a girl and I wanna make her mine.
Jesse's Girl is one of those iconic 80s gorgeous songs that you throw on and all of a sudden everyone is screaming. All of a sudden every single person wants to know where they can get a girl just like her.
It's the song that earned Springfield both his first #1 single in the US and his first Grammy. The next 80s jam that's a summer playlist must, Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree?
It's just such a fun, classically 80s song.
It was the first single released by the duo in the US, and just last year it earned a spot on the Grammy Hall of Fame.
They put the lyrics together and boom, they had this smash hit.
Our list wraps up with Whitney Houston's I Wanna Dance With Somebody.
Whitney Houston's I Wanna Dance With Somebody is so happy and warm, and I mean, it was such a bright, cool time in her life.
She earned a Grammy for this song, and it was also her 4th #1 single in the US.
The song is just irresistible.
Adding the sound of the 80s to your summer playlist on the Hot List. We'll be right back.
We're back. If your great getaway this year doesn't include a trip overseas, you can still get a taste of international life with sodas from around the globe. From the Bahamas to South Korea, Teresa Strasser's quenching her thirst for travel, one sweet sip at a time.
Travel season is here, but with rules and restrictions constantly changing, why not get a taste of culture and adventure through international soda pops? We've rounded up a bucket of overseas sodas to tide us over. We'll start with the Bahamas and their famous Goombay Punch.
I love Goombay Punch because it's Bahamian.
Brewed in the Bahamas by the Caribbean Bottling Company, the pineapple-flavored soft drink is named in honor of the goat skin Bahamian drum and Goombay music. While it's tough to find in the U.S., a quick Google search and about $28 is all you need to take your taste buds to the Bahamas. Our next stop is Scotland, home to bagpipes, castles, knits, and perhaps the world's quirkiest soda, Iron Brew.
Hiya!
Founded in 1901, Iron Brew is best known for its bubblegum meets pineapple flavor and irreverent commercials.
Singer, you come here often? Why? We man's love the cash.
A 6-pack will set you back about $5, available online. Our soda pop tour continues in Korea with a unique milk-based concoction called MILKIS.
Refreshing beat or light beat?
Launched with a lot of hoopla in 1989, their first spokesman was Hong Kong action movie star Chow Yun-fat. It comes in a variety of fruit flavors. You can find 6-packs online stateside starting at about $10 a pack. We'll wrap our tasty tour of international sodas with a nod to JARRITOS, the fruity, festive Mexican soda. Founded in 1950, JARRITOS uses cane sugar instead of corn syrup and pairs perfectly with everything from tacos to barbecue.
Jarritos, qué buenos son.
You can find JARRITOS at most grocery stores stateside for $1 a bottle or less. Savoring the flavors of the world.
Jarritos, qué buenos son.
With Sodas International.
What a fun story. This begs the question, though. Jimmy, do you say soda or pop?
There's a third option. Some places say Coke for everything. No, in Michigan, we say pop.
Same. Central Washingtonians, we also say pop.
You got it right.